Alrighty guys, so let's kick it off. Today's topic is cloud storage. I hope you guys are excited. I am as well. So I went ahead and I drew up this presentation for you guys so that we can, have some talking points when we go through the presentation, go through the topic of the day. So guys, cloud storage, pretty big buzzword in today's industry. Is, as I said earlier on, was followed with a little bit of skepticism in its original days, in its origin, when it was really becoming something that people were wanting to use, the concept of cloud storage, which I'll get into definition shortly. But nowadays it is more followed with a lot of respect and a lot of benefits. So it's no longer followed with as much skepticism. Now there are still a couple industries which can be a little skeptical towards cloud storage, that being ones that have extreme security and things of that nature. But you'll notice that when I discuss the different types of cloud storage, we'll be showing you how these same industries that are a little bit skeptical about putting their stuff in public storage have another option when it comes to cloud storage. So let's go ahead and kick it off. So what is cloud storage? So cloud storage is a service in which your data can be maintained, managed, backed up remotely, as well as made available to you over a network. Now most of the time this is over an internet connection, so you will be needing some internet connection to access your cloud storage service. That's the most generic definition of cloud storage. You guys have most likely seen this if you have used Google Drive, for instance, which we'll be getting into the details about some of those options, or if you have an Apple device. If you have an Apple device, you've most likely come into contact with iCloud. Really good choice of words and naming conventions for Apple, I have to say, in terms of calling it iCloud, as it is cloud storage, where you've seen that it gives you 5 gigs of data. You're able to upload some things to it that you're able to access from your iCloud device, and I'll get into that momentarily. But that's probably the first run-in that you've ever seen with cloud storage, and it typically is, yes, storing your data so that you can access it on a different workstation, a different machine, as well as to back it up. Get the option to keep it locally on a workstation, but also to have it somewhere safe and secure in case, for instance, your workstation was to die, your hard drive was to be suddenly become corrupted. Something could happen to your system, and that is why cloud storage can benefit you in those ways. So, as I was saying before, when I was talking about the skepticism when it came to cloud storage, and that primarily being due to some industries not wanting to go about it because the concept of public cloud storage was a little bit like, oh, if there's anything that can happen to it, security breaches, how can I make sure that my client's information is safe and secure? These are most likely common in let's say law industry, the law industry, or the medical industry, where security and privacy is very much kept with good, with high regard. It needs to be kept secure. So the concept of public storage tends to really just skim over the top, fly over their head, because they don't want to risk any possible breaches inflicting their clients or their reputation. But as I was saying, there are 3 different types of cloud storage, that being public storage, which most of us are more familiar with. That is the one in which we have seen most commonly. Then there's private storage, which I'll explain to you the benefits of that for those certain industries that we just highlighted. And then hybrid, which, if you couldn't get that, that's pretty much a combination of the two, that being public and private, and using them in your organization or personal life. So let's get into public cloud storage. So this is where data is stored in global data centers around the world. This could be one specific country or many countries, depending on which service provider you are working with. It really depends on where they are using their data centers, where they have their data centers located. And a lot of the time, these major companies that are offering these cloud storage services can go into full detail about where their data centers are, how their data centers are protected, how they are secured, things of that nature. And the reason behind that is because when you hear the term public cloud storage, you hear public and you say, is that secure? Is my data safe? How do I know if my data is safe or secure? Well, don't get fooled by just the term public in that. these things are still secured safely. No one can access your data unless you have given them permission to do so. It is just that all the storage is done in a global data center, some data center in one location that the public has access to. Doesn't mean they have access to your specific information. It means that they can use that data center to upload their information. Then there is private cloud storage. Now this is where it really gets, beneficial to those same industries that we highlighted, that being law and medical, where they're really concerned about, how can I utilize the concept of cloud storage? How can I back up my data? How can I maintain my data? How can I make my data more mobile while still remaining 100% secure? Not only because in some cases, public storage can be deemed unsecure, which it should not and never is now in this day and age. However, there's always chances of breaches, but when you're working with large companies such as Google and Microsoft, and Apple, that is very unlikely, since they take people's data security very important. Put it on a very high pedestal. But as I was saying, when you are very concerned about how your clients' opinions could be about you using cloud storage, private cloud storage may be the solution that fits your organization perfectly. So it is also known as an on-premise cloud storage service, where it provides a dedicated storage environment that may be protected behind, let's say, a firewall. Now, if you're one of our clients, we utilize WatchGuard firewalls. So you can build this cloud storage, this private cloud storage that is within your organization on premise. It is located in your office or in one location, one of your office's locations, that is protected behind a firewall. That meaning that no one can intrude on it, no one can bypass your security. Now, there are kind of hit and misses in the terms of, is it safer to use my firewall or let's say Google's firewall? That's what you're really trying to vary with. However, with private cloud storage, you are given more power and over the restrictions, the permissions, things of that nature. And as I said earlier, you can give your clients more reassurance in knowing, hey, all of my data is maybe cloud storage, but it is being accessed, it is being stored within my organization at an on-premise solution. It is at my organization's location, and that could potentially make them feel safer about it. And then there is hybrid cloud storage, which, if it didn't really give it away, is a combination of the two, which can be very beneficial to those same industries that may be a little bit more hesitant from utilizing public cloud storage for securing all of their information. It could also just be useful for those companies that want to, really increase in their performance in accessing their data and storing their data. So, as I said, it is a combination of on-premise and public cloud storage, useful for an organization that would possibly like to store more actively used data in their on-premise cloud storage service, the data that they need every single day. Their employees need to be able to access this data. They need to be able to use it throughout the day when they're in the office, while storing archived data in their public cloud storage service. Things that are previously used data that is no longer needed, maybe previous employees' information, or, if an employee is terminated or moves on from the company. Let's say you want to store all of their documents, things of that nature, but you don't want to store that in an on-premise solution because it isn't 100% needed day to day. While storing that in a public cloud would be the best solution for having a hybrid, as long as you are, of course, still using an on-premise solution. If you're not, then you're just strictly sticking to the public cloud. But with a hybrid of the two, you can start to, see where in benefits of pricing, benefits of performance, where you're having, okay, we have a setup solution for our on-premise storage where our employees are able to access data very quickly, not needing to worry about having strong internet connections, things of that nature, while we're storing old data that we really don't need to touch day to day or even sometimes monthly, that is being archived in public storage. You could also set it up in a way where your data, once it has reached a certain age, is automatically moved from your on-premise solution to the public cloud. It's from private to public because it has reached that day limit, that age limit, you could say. which would allow you then to save on space in your on-premise solution. So it can be handy for a lot of situations where you want the benefit of both the speed as well as the performance, as well as the pricing and the space. That is where hybrid cloud storage can really benefit your organization or your personal life. Remember guys, this is not only for situations for organizations. This could also benefit you just personally, how you want to set up things, for how you handle things. Maybe you store a lot of data, maybe you take a lot of pictures, take a lot of videos, you have a lot of personal information. It doesn't have to be all business related. So, how can cloud storage benefit you? 1 second. So yes, how can cloud storage benefit you? Notice I didn't say specifically benefit your business or benefit your personal life. How can it benefit you? And that should encapsulate all of the above. So it is going to be primarily useful for disaster recovery situations. Now, if you guys weren't here, we had a major presentation last month, July 10th, for disaster recovery, where we talked about hurricane preparedness and the benefits. And one of the big topics that we discussed was cloud storage, because guys, recovering from a disaster is extremely difficult if all of your data is being stored on premise, not in a cloud storage. I can't say only on premise, but not like an on-premise cloud storage service, but more on-premise in the sense that it is stored on specific computers in your organization, or stored even in paper documentation where it has not been converted into digital documents. That is an issue during a disaster. But by utilizing cloud storage, where you know that your data is always backed up because it is being stored on the cloud, in the cloud, guys. The cloud has it that you can access it from anywhere, which we'll talk about shortly when we get into mobility, as well as backing that data up. So if anything happened to all of your, let's say your entire business, for instance, burned down, God forbid, you would still be able to access all of that data until the very moment that you lost internet connection because your modem caught on fire. That is one of the real benefits of utilizing cloud storage. Then you also have business continuity, which really goes in hand with disaster recovery. Business continuity, that being that if for instance, you are unable to, there is a disaster, by having all of your data backed up that you can access anywhere, which ties in with the mobility, you will be able to keep your business running, potentially keep it going, because you can access all this data. You can keep things going. You can make sure that, okay, I can access this data. A client needs this information. Well, guess what? I can still access that data even if I'm not in the office because I'm using a cloud storage service. My stuff is stored in the cloud. I can access it mobily anywhere. I can be mobile and I can still get access to that. So those are the three main ways in which cloud storage can benefit you guys. And this is not just for your business. This could be for your home. You have a lot of important documents, let's say, a lot of important family photos, family pictures, those kind of things that you're going to want to make sure can survive a disaster. You don't want to be in a situation where, God forbid, your house burns down and you lose all of that memories. You're already dealing with insurance claims and issues like that. The last thing you want to is to lose and not be is your priceless things, your priceless pictures of your family. Those are the kind of things in which it can also benefit you in your personal life. That's why I didn't really want to specifically say business or personal. So let's talk about different types of cloud storage services. So there's Microsoft OneDrive, which a lot of us are familiar with, especially within our organization, as it is a part of Office 365, Microsoft Azure, Google Drive, and iCloud, which we've kind of highlighted both of those already, and most of the time, if not all the time, iCloud is very familiar and maybe the first one that you've come into contact with, followed by Google Drive, or vice versa. But today, since we want to make sure we're keeping these short and sweet, we will be focusing on one specific service, and that is Microsoft OneDrive. And why, you may ask? Well, that's because that service is pretty much goes hand in hand with what we offer for our clients. We like to offer Office 365 support for our clients. We help manage their Office 365. And we really try to push Office 365 as much as possible. OneDrive is very much a part of Office 365. It is one of the services of Office 365, and for that reason, it is closely intertwined with what we can offer our clientele, as well as what we are most proficient in. What is our knowledge? We are used to handling issues with possibly OneDrive or Office 365 in general, but specifically handling issues with OneDrive or setting up software solutions utilizing OneDrive and troubleshooting issues. The list goes on and on, but that is why I want to focus on Microsoft OneDrive in the remaining time for this segment.